Manifestation is a culmination of many laws. The law of gravity that says I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at the right place at the perfect time. And two, the law of Goya, get off Goya. And so many people think all the law of attraction is sitting and dreaming about what you want, but it isn't. There's the law of love, the law of allowance, the law of attraction, the law of Goya, the law of gravity. So get off and put attention and intention.
Please welcome to the Inspiration Place, David Meltzer. Well, hey there, David. Welcome to the show.
Hey there. Thanks for having me. No better place to be than an inspiring platform to help other people be inspired.
So I noticed from reading your bio that we're both part of the Triple High Club. Do you know what that is?
The Triple High Club, I do not know, but I'm very curious.
Okay. Well, you know what high is, right?
Oh, yes, I know what Chai is.
How old are you?
Oh, there you go. I'm 54. There, triple high. You nailed it. I should have been on that realm. Excellent. I'm only in the Triple High Club for another month, though. So
Oh, you are. You're about to
11th,
leave
I'm
us.
turning
I'm
55.
actually entering it. Well, I will be in the future when people are listening to this. I will be in the Triple High Club.
Oh, when's your birthday?
My birthday is Saturday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. So for those people who have no idea what we're talking about, and I'm sure there's a lot out there, the Hebrew word chai, well, 18 in Hebrew is the word chai, which also means luck. And good things come in threes, and 3 times 18 is 54. So I think this is going to be an amazing year for me. I hope this was an amazing year for you, David.
It was the best year yet. And I'm now entering what I call the Junior Seau year, which is his football number, my favorite football player from San Diego, 55. So I'm expecting even a better year than the Triple High.
There you go. Like numbers are important. All right. So I got a hold of your book, Connected to Greatness. And there was one thing that you were talking about that I think the people listening would be really interested in. So I'm always getting asked, where do I find art collectors? And you actually said pretty much the same thing that I'm always telling them, which is you go out into the world. So there was something you said that's very interesting, how you make more sales just by leaving your house than you do in your office, something to that effect. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, well, look, there's 4 ways that we can create things, those coincidences that you were talking about. And it's in person, on the phone, via email, or media. And those are the 4 ways to do it. And you need to practice doing it. And you have to practice asking what people are doing today pertaining to what you want to hopefully share with someone, and find out 2 things: what they like and what they don't like. Because if you know someone, or you yourself can help either give them more of what they like or take away some of what they don't like, you now have a quantitative value. But it doesn't happen sitting on your mom's couch, high, broke, and sick, dreaming about what you want. Manifestation is a culmination of many laws. The law of gravity that says I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be at the right place at the perfect time. And two, the law of Goya, get off Goya. And so many people think all the law of attraction is sitting and dreaming about what you want, but it isn't. There's the law of love, the law of allowance, the law of attraction, the law of Goya, the law of gravity. So get off and put attention and intention, what you do, say, think, believe, and feel, in a trajectory of what you want, and you'll find that acceleration and the coinciding of the universe, the coincidences will be abundant and exponential in your life.
I love that, because I say the same exact thing, just in different words.
In a probably much more eloquent and higher.
No, I use the word. So in my book, Artpreneur, I say, get your introverted out of the house.
Nice. I love it.
Because I find, like, no matter how much marketing I do, so I help mostly artists, and many of them are visual artists, although we do have a lot of listeners who have different creative businesses or just make money from their creative ideas. But specifically the visual artists who I'm speaking to, when I was primarily selling my art, I found that most of my art sales at these art shows happened because of the people I invited the week of the art show. Like no matter how much marketing I did and how extensive my campaigns were, it was those postcards that I kept in my bag and handed out at yoga class or the people I talked to at pickup. Because when you are selling art or selling anything that is your art, we talked about this on your live stream. What is art? It's whatever it is that you make it to be, whatever it is you're creating. When people want to connect with you, with the human being, and when you make that connection, selling is so much easier. So the more marketing you can do, the better you'll be, but the more higher touch you have, and in person is the highest touch point that you can have. You want to say more about that? Because I know you have more to say.
Yeah, well, look, everything, awareness itself is dictated by frequency or vibration. And so if you look on how we are aware of things at the highest level, when we make connection of not just being in person, but our thoughts and our words and even the truth, we can be in spirit together. And that inspiration, those thoughts that we share, are the most powerful of all vibration or frequency that allows us to have a greater awareness. And what happens a lot of times is that the communication is, if I reflect back on these 5 levels of intention, a lot of people will do everything, say everything, they'll even think it, but how do we communicate our beliefs and our feelings? And throughout history, all the great leaders will tell you, it doesn't matter what you say, it's how they feel. And the only way that we can make the emotional connection, the energy emotion, is truly in person. And at that highest level, the highest frequency, we're sharing our emotions, which creates an efficiency and effectiveness and statistical success in collaboration and coordination of our co-creation, which you know and I know is our art. Whatever we've co-created is truly the information, the inform in motion, the emotion tied to the form or material that we've created or co-created. That is our art. And in order to share it effectively, we have to, I think, be there in person to increase that statistical success and get the exponential results that we're looking for.
And then if you can't be there in person, what's the next best thing?
This right here, the virtual person, because we still get the intonation, the connotation, we still can share energy by looking at one another and seeing each other. And then from there, it goes to voice. So we can't get this, beautiful video connection that we have. Then the next, we can connect by voice. That's why for years, people will call their grandparents. And, we're old enough in the Triple High Club that all we mostly could connect with a lot of our family was by phone. And voice does allow us to have a lower level of success, but yet success. And then comes writing below that as well. But that's why I tell everyone, look, I use all 4. I use in person, on the phone, via email and media, traditional and social, in order to effectuate combination or a compounding effect of because individually too, some people like to communicate in different ways. Even though we may be more effective in person, there's some people that, number one, aren't available in person, but 2, they prefer to communicate by email, or prefer to watch videos of you, or prefer to do this virtually. So I think it's so easy today to communicate on all the platforms that we just have to be disciplined, create behaviors that aggregate upon themselves. And just simply, Miriam, I like to tell people this all the time, and I do a lot of sales training outside of what you call art and just corporate enterprise sales. Just use the numbers. If you ask one time a day, in person, on the phone, via email and media, it's 28 asks a month. It's 112 asks, right? 28 a week, 112 a month. Even if you have a very low percentage, 1%, you're adding, simply by asking 4 times, you're adding 1.1 a month. It's 13 sales a year of whatever you have at 1% closing rate. I'm going to give this is very powerful. I worked with Arthur Blank at Home Depot, and they put the automatic machines in to check out, the automatic checkout, compared to the contractor, the garden, and the consumer checkout. They sell warranties the same way as electronic stores on appliances and other things. The aggregate of consumer, garden, and contractor checkout of selling warranties, the aggregate, if you added them all up, 3 times as many warranties were sold by the automatic checkout. You know why? Because no matter what the person looked like, no matter if they were in a hurry or they're not, the machine always asked, do you want to buy a warranty? And it sold 3 times as many as the other checkouts. And that in itself should prove to you that you got to get off your ass, as Marion's telling you, get outside and ask for the sale, ask for the invite.
Yeah, there's two things that you said that I wanted to circle back to, and you kept dropping knowledge bomb after knowledge bombs. I didn't want to interject. And that is like meeting people where they're at. So I was working with a client and she put on her webpage, oh, if you want me to meet with you to discuss the commission, book the Zoom call. And she was sharing with me because that's how she feels the most comfortable. I says, yes, but your client may not want to get on the Zoom call with you because they're worried about what they look like, or maybe they're shy and they don't feel comfortable on camera. So you have to give them the option to just make a phone call, make an email, just like you said. You have to give them the option so that they can meet you what their comfort level is, because as a salesperson, it's about their comfort level, not always our comfort level. And then the other thing I just wanted, what you just said is what I talk about in my book, Ourpreneur, is belief in the buyer, which completely confirms what I say. So I call it the belief triad. We always hear people say, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in what you're selling. And the third part I don't hear too often, which is why I call it the belief triad, is belief in the buyer. And so what you were talking about is the machine didn't have any limiting beliefs in the buyer. The machine just asked. And there's so many times where we don't have belief in our buyer and we're sabotaging ourselves because we're thinking thoughts like, oh, they don't want to buy. Oh, I'm being pushy. You know, you're thinking thoughts about yourself, or you're thinking thoughts about your art, or you're thinking thoughts about them, and you're getting in your own way. So I love that you shared that.
Yeah, it's so interesting how much we participate in a perception that's working against ourselves. And one of the perceptions I also will tell you, and it's very important in art, in your specific creations, and that's the ability to articulate what we know. When we are co-creators, when we are passionate and purposeful, in love with our product, because we feel it's part of us, it's our baby, we fall into a trap of assumption. We assume that everybody knows everything about what we're selling. They know the value, the capabilities, the features, the benefit, all of these things we make an assumption because we're so in love with our product. So I help people learn to articulate the quantitative value of what they've co-created, of what they're doing. And whatever that is, with credibility and emotional attachment, turns into the most significant way to communicate what we are offering to exceed what we're asking for. And that's, to me, one of the biggest problems that people have is they're so close to their own product, service, or solution, and so in love with their product, service, or solution, they have an assumption problem. They assume everyone else is without being able to articulate it to them. Why?
Mm-hmm. Tell me more what you mean by co-creation. That was something you also asked me about on the live stream, and I really wanted to give you the platform to share your ideas on that.
Well, I always went through a paradigm shift in my life of, being in control. And what I started to realize that instead of pursuing more happiness, more wealth, more worthiness, more of anything, that my paradigm shift through faith is that there's an omniscient, all powerful, all knowing source of everything for everyone. I call it the law of love. And through the law of love, I believe that my primary focus should be clearing what I'm doing to interfere or co-create what already exists. And I'm a co-creation of that omniscient, all-powerful source. That's why I'm always protected and promoted. So when I produce something, I create something, I believe I'm co-creating it because what I've done to create it was to inform the source of what I believe I wanted and clear the interference between me and what I believe. And I have faith there'll be something bigger and better, or exactly what I want, that creates this materialization or monetization in my life. And it's higher level of thinking. It's a faith-based thinking in my belief of co-creation, that I can't create anything myself, that everything I do is co-created. That's why, people laugh when they're like, hey, he took my idea. Well, I'm not really sure you have any. They're all ideas are shared, and you may have interpreted it in a different way or utilized it in a different way. So I'm a co-creator, and so are you.
Yeah. Have you studied Kabbalah? Because that's what Kabbalah teaches.
Yeah, so I've studied Kabbalah, I've studied A Course in Miracles, and but Kabbalah for me was extremely transformative. And I'm a math person and a technology person, and for the first time, I felt that faith resonated with me and started to understand the universe a lot better without some of the dogmatic principles of separation that always frustrated me. My brother's a very famous rabbi from Harvard, and very opinionated in his dogmatic practices. And I'm one of curiosity and co-creation. So I question a lot of pragmatic disciplines from 5,700 years ago that don't seem to be as applicable for me today to stay in the oneness that I think we should stay in.
Well, we're not burning sheep on the altar anymore. So
I doubt.
all right, David, it was such a pleasure to have you here. So, if you want to learn more about David, first of all, check out his book, Connected to Greatness. And where else should they connect with you? On Instagram?
I'll be happy to send my book to everyone. So I'll sign it, send it, and ship it to you. So email me directly. I answer them all myself, david@dmeltzer.com. And if you forget my email, david@dmeltzer, I'm blessed to be everywhere. So just Google my name. You will find every platform. David Meltzer is my name. Easy to find, easy to contact. Happy to send. Like I said, I am here to empower others to be happy, to teach them to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. And I've been blessed my entire life, and I'd love to share those blessings with you.
Okay. And do you have any last words for our listeners before we call this podcast complete?
Always be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self. Do good deeds.